Hey, my name's Ian Begley. You're watching the NBA Exchange with Dexter Henry.
What's good, everybody? Hope everybody is doing well. Dexter Henry, your host of the NBA Exchange. We are moving through the year. Can you believe it or not already? This is going to be the last show of March, the final show of March, guys. And that means April is right here. April is right around the corner. That means playoff basketball is right around the corner. Man, forget all that March madness. Y'all were talking. I'm here for the April. I don't know what we call April. I have no idea. I was trying to come up with some clever name, but I do not have one. I'm here for the April excitement. I know that's not alliterative, but we'll work with that. The April excitement that is around playoff basketball. It is right here. It is a Wednesday. That means it's NBA with nuance time. That means my man Jarod Hector, as usual, joins me. So we were trying to decide what we were going to talk about today. We decided we're going to talk a little bit about playoff matchups that we want to see in the first round. We're not going too deep in the second round. Potential playoff matchups in the first round that we would want to see. So joining me to talk about that is my guy, Jarod Hector. He is there this week. We talked about the weather the last couple of weeks. It's still cold.
Yeah, man, still cold.
Man.
Still too cold. Still too cold. We're not really here for that. You said it's about to be April already. It makes you think of that song, "Time Keeps on Slipping." Right? That's it. That's just how it goes. It's just you wake up and it's like, oh, New Year's there. Then it's like, damn, we already about to be in April. Listen, I used to tell some people this, like, when you're younger and you're in school, it seems like time takes forever. The school year would last so long. Summer break was so short. Man, the minute you get out of college, time is on crack. That shit just flies by.
It all changes once you get out of college. Like, it really does. It all changes. It felt so long, but all changes, man. So, we'll see. But we got a lot to talk about, including the fact that before we decided what teams and matches we're going to talk about, I apparently stole some of Jarod's teams. Y'all can guess what team that was, or one of two. You can guess what team that was. So you know what that is. So what we're going to do is Jarod and I have each picked 3 first-round matchups, East or West, doesn't really matter, that we would really like to see. And we're going to discuss why. Do we think that's intriguing? Will people want to watch it? Will it be placed on NBA TV where series go to die? We will discuss all that today. So, Jarod, I'll start with you first. What's your first series that you got as your dream first-round match?
Well, I don't know about dream, but I think intriguing. So, Golden State Warriors versus the Utah Jazz. The Warriors have been slipping lately, 5-10 in their last 15 games. They're about 18th in offensive rating and 19th in defensive rating during that same time span. Just struggling. The Draymond Green, he hasn't played as well as he did pre-injury. Of course, we know Steph is out. And the kids are good, Kuminga and Moody and Poole and the young guys. But, listen, we talking about playoffs now. If we're trying to win the championship, which is what Golden State looked like, an actual championship contender for a large part of the season. Right now, not quite looking the same. And Utah, we know that this is such an important postseason for them, because if they flame out again in round 1 and don't advance to the conference finals, look, we're going to have a lot of questions about, does that Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell pairing work? Does Quinn Snyder work? A lot of questions to be asked. And, with Danny Ainge now over there in the front office, Mr. I was about to make a trade 75 times, but no trade actually happens. It's interesting. So I would love to see that matchup. And from a basketball on the floor standpoint, Rudy Gobert, we know what the Warriors do when they go small ball, right? Will they play, quote unquote, play Rudy off the floor, right? That will be interesting to see. So I'd be curious to see that matchup.
Yeah, that's an interesting one to me. It's one I hadn't thought of, but I do like any matchups that will make things interesting for Utah in that way. So, because when that happens, you're going to get all the Rudy Gobert haters out there. It's like, oh, see, Rudy can't do anything. And Jarod and I have talked about this on the show before. He can't do anything. He can't cover on the perimeter, and totally ignore the perimeter deficiencies, which scare me in terms of believing in the Utah Jazz. Totally ignore that. The Warriors seem like a team that's tailor-made to lack of a better term, fuck shit up for them, right? Like they seem like a team that could do that.
Only if they're fully healthy. I mean, and we
Good
don't.
point
I mean,
too. We don't
what
know.
if Draymond
Right.
is not playing like how he's playing All NBA defense? I mean, he was a runaway defensive player of the year winner through January. Then he gets hurt. He hadn't quite been that since he's gotten back. And remember, Draymond's 32, Klay's 32, Steph's 34. Right? These guys over their 5-year span where they went to 5 straight finals and they won 3 titles. They played 93 playoff games. That's an extra season plus. And that's playoff games. That ain't regular season games where you're going hard. And we know the best predictor of future injury is previous injury. I'm not saying that guys are going to get hurt again in the playoffs, but the idea that you're depending on those 3 guys to be fully healthy come playoff time, you know, your odds of that happening are low.
It's interesting because I see Emmanuel Olivo checking in on here and been watching the show. He talks about what we're talking about here. If Utah gets bumped from the first round, Gobert's either gone or Mitchell demands a trade. I know this is something for way down the road, but I do think if they get bumped for the first round, I don't think it matters who they play. Anything if they get bumped from the first round is absolutely disappointed. And I think, somebody's gone. But I think we should also know, Emmanuel, Quinn Snyder might be the one to just say, hey, I'm going out of here too. You know, you wonder well what that is. Oh, I didn't realize who Manny was. Manny from the Sports Hit List. What's up, Manny? Good to see you. I was on the Sports Hit List last week. Manny's a good dude out there, big Raiders fan. I don't know whose basketball team is, but a good dude.
The other thing about that, Dexter, is that the question then becomes, if you're going to move one of the two, who are you going to get stuff for? The most for? Because if you're going to break this up, you have to get a lot of stuff back in return.
Yeah.
Is there a big trade market for Rudy Gobert? Look, and this is not saying that Rudy Gobert isn't good. Rudy Gobert is excellent. But when you have him as your big making supermax money, your team has to be tailor-made to have either excellent perimeter and point of attack defenders so that he can do his job best, right? Does your team properly have the right pieces to fit? This is where fit comes in, where you can probably get way more in return for Donovan because he's much easier to plug and play anywhere.
I think you do get way more for Donovan. I do think it makes sense. We're now getting to a broader conversation. How good is that for the league where you have a top, whatever you want to say, 15 player, really damn good young player in a market like Utah, and they can't keep him. You know, they haven't been able to keep any of the guys. Deron Williams left. Now we're talking about, Spider possibly leaving. Gordon Hayward also didn't stay there. So it's not necessarily a good look for the league, but we'll see. But yeah, you get more from Mitchell than I think you'll do with Gobert right now. But look, the point that Manny brings up is right. There will be changes. Now, you could say there's no shame, Jarod, in losing to a Golden State, a team that has championship medal as a matchup you brought up. But look, if they don't get it done, there's going to be changes. So
No doubt.
we've already seen the formula of what teams can do to make things difficult. Okay, here's my dream. My dream's probably a stretch of a word here, but we dream intriguing, whatever you want to do. Dream first round matchup. And I'm here for the drama. That's what I'm here for, right? Philadelphia 76ers versus the Brooklyn Nets. Can we make this happen? Please.
You want that for the basketball gods.
Oh, yes, basketball gods. Deliver us this. We need Kevin Durant talking spicy at Joel Embiid. We need James Harden being salty. We know Kyrie Irving could be. It would have been better if Kyrie wasn't being able to play in the games in New York. It would have made it a little bit more intriguing. But I'm all for this. This is two teams. Obviously, you got the trade going on. Will Ben Simmons play? There's all the drama. The Philly crowd would be booing Ben Simmons if he plays vociferously. The Brooklyn Nets crowd, whatever crowd is that there is of them, will be actually giving a lot of heat to the Sixers. It will be so interesting. I just want to see this for all the drama, everything that's going on between the two teams. And here's the thing, Jarod, and you know this, right? Whatever we talk about in the playoffs with Harden, he's got to perform big. There's a lot of pressure on him, and particularly the pressure and stakes rise even more if we're talking about against Brooklyn, a team that he wanted out of for, as we have said in the show, 4 legitimate reasons, right? That he wanted out. It's not crazy that he wanted out, but there's a lot of pressure on him. What do you think about this matchup? Are you intrigued to see this? Not even just because of the spiciness. This is also two really good teams with a lot of star power, and so it makes it intriguing because of that.
I mean, of course, the spiciness is what all the casual fans and people who just like drama in their lives want to see. People like our boy Brian Fonseca who like to see WWE style, fights and all kinds of silliness like that. So yeah, from that standpoint, sure. From the basketball standpoint, I think it'll be interesting as well to see, does Philly have enough shooting, right? Yeah, Embiid and Harden do their thing, but do they have enough spacing on the floor? Again, I say this all the time. Based on contracts, Tobias Harris should be the third most important player on that team, but he's not. It's Tyrese Maxey, right? And that to me is like, all right, what are you getting out of Harris? Like, and then again, Maxey is as good as he is. He's a second-year player. Are we so confident that, he can be the third best guy on a legit title team? We don't know. So from that standpoint, it would be great to see. And on the Brooklyn side, with Kevin Durant and Kyrie being able to play all games, home and away, because of the lifted vaccine mandate in the city, that makes Brooklyn a potent offense. But, they need time to gel, because as much as, the team is happy that they have Kyrie back, and it's not what it's been all season, right? They still need to kind of get into a flow of, all right, who's doing what, who's cutting off where, who's doing this, who's doing that. So it will be an interesting matchup, and there's pressure everywhere. You mentioned James Harden. I looked at his numbers, actually, Dexter, his regular season averages and his postseason averages. And it isn't the stark difference that everyone thinks that it is. As everyone knows, your efficiency tends to drop in the playoffs, right?
Absolutely,
because you're not playing Houston, Orlando, Oklahoma City, Indiana, Sacramento, all these terrible, shitty teams that you get to feast on during the regular season. They're not there in the postseason. Every defense you play is good, right? So I think it's definitely, so that changes. But Harden's numbers postseason wise on an average basis are pretty much in line with the regular season numbers. Now, where his issues stem from is that the no-shows in big games, where he's like 1 of 11 from 3 or whatever, right? He's shooting 8% from those kinds of things. Or when he's able to, the team is down 20 and he sort of like gets empty stats late in the game that's already been decided and you aren't going to win, right? So he's got to play better in bigger moments. And, this will be, look, if he peters out this postseason and Philly doesn't get to the conference finals, that's going to be, that postseason stain is going to be really, really hard for him to wash off.
All right. But if this matchup happens, right? Who you going with? Because when I hear you say all that, I'm inclined to be like, yeah, Jarod's taking the Nets. I hear that.
I'm not betting against KD, so no.
he's like, nah, we're gonna do it. And it's a good point Manny brings up here. Who do you think more pressure is on if this series were to happen? Pressure on the Sixers with Doc Rivers, which Manny brings up a good point. It's got a lot of pressure. I think he's been a little bit too much on him. Harden and Embiid, who's more the pressure on? Or is it Brooklyn that they kind of finally got to break through with these stars?
It's funny. Like, so Brooklyn, KD and Kyrie have pressure, but in a different way. Like, they've won titles. They don't have pressure to win titles. They've already won in their career. But they have pressure to win because everyone assumed that once they joined together, they were going to win a bunch of titles. But they never predicted that. They didn't go down. It wasn't like LeBron in Miami. So yeah, not 1, not 2, not 3. It was none of that. Right? They came together and said, we want to try to do something here and build something and hopefully win some championships, right? Well, it hasn't quite happened yet. And you can say, look, they've been unlucky, right? Now, some of the unluckiness has been their own doing, Kyrie Irving. But, last season, let's be real. They were just unlucky last season. Everybody's like, oh, it's not going to work. 3 guys that want the ball. Like, when those 3 dudes played on the floor together, it was sublime brilliance, right? Like, you saw how they buzzed through the Celtics in the first round. And Harden gets hurt the second round against the Bucks. They go up 2-0 with just KD and Kyrie. And then when Kyrie gets hurt, KD damn near beats the Bucks by himself. So, I mean, it's this team is excellent. And when you have 2 guys like KD and Kyrie, you have a chance, right? You have a chance. So, I think in terms of pressure, right? Like, the pressure is definitely going to be on Doc, right? In the sense that, look, Doc got that chip in Boston, and yes, we know when healthy they will never be able to beat that line that Doc loves to throw out there. But you've also blown 3-1 leads multiple times, my guy. Like, it's going to start, it's going to start looking kind of funny. So, and Doc's a little bit stubborn with certain things, right? Listen, DeAndre Jordan can't be getting no minutes in this series, right? Like, I mean, I just,
well,
no.
last couple of years we've seen he could barely play. Nets fans know that very well. You can't play him in the playoffs.
They like, please put DeAndre on the floor so we can get him in pick and roll every time.
Well, and this is we can get into this as we get close to playoffs, but that is an issue for the Sixers. I do not like the backup center situation. I do not think they have enough athleticism off the bench. I'd love.
Well, they do if they play Paul Reed, but they won't play him.
No, they're not playing. Well, that's part of the stubbornness you're talking about, right? Maybe not being able to adapt and adjust certain things. All right, Jarod, what's your second intriguing / dream matchup for the playoffs?
We're going to stay with the Brooklyn Nets. Let's say I would like them to play Milwaukee again, the 2-7 matchup. Everyone talks about Manny over here said a shoe size away. I don't want to make it that reductive, a shoe size away, right? Like, I mean, there's so many other factors that were involved there beyond Kevin Durant's shoe size. But, Durant was excellent in that series last year. We saw it the last, 4 games of that series. It was him, James Harden on one leg, and just some other guys. Now, I want to be fair about just some other guys. If you look back, Jeff Green was excellent in that series. Had a game where he hit like 20-something points and was like 5 of 6 from 3 or something like that. Like, listen, they're going to need some other people. Patty Mills, Seth Curry. They're going to have some big games in a series like this against the Bucks. But I'd love to see fully healthy KD and Kyrie against the Bucks again, because the Nets were the only team last season to push the Bucks to 7 games. No other team did it. Everybody else got beat in 6 or fewer.
Oh, you're right about that. I was there for that fantastic Game 5 performance by KD, which was just masterful. I'm here for seeing this. The thing is, when I look at the Bucks, and I was watching them last night against the Sixers, I hate using this because this is very commonly used in NBA circles and sports circles. Like, oh, they've got that championship medal now, but there's something to that in terms of they look like they've got things figured out, right? And some of that has been, you've seen that this season, right, where they haven't been, laser focused, not really dominating teams. I think they know what they have to do, and when they're healthy, they can play defense down the stretch. I trust them to get stops. I trust their role players down the stretch because we've seen it before, whether it's Pat Connaughton, whether it's Grayson Allen now, Bobby Portis. We know our boy Brian loves Bobby Portis, but these are guys who now playoff proven and done these things. And so that concerns me a little bit in a series with Brooklyn, but we also know that the Brooklyn's big dogs, they've also been playoff proven. There's no doubt in that. Some of the role players you might have some concerns about, but they've been playoff proven. And so I think that would be a fantastic first round.
And it's interesting, man. He said Seth Curry will do what Harris couldn't do last year. Maybe. Huh. Let's assume that Seth shoots better. I'll give you that.
Right.
What Harris and what the Nets problems are right now is last year with Harris on the floor, they have size on the wing. Seth Curry and Patty Mills are small, and they're going to get picked on the wing, right? So defensively, now I'm not out here telling you that Joe Harris is an all defensive player, but Joe Harris is 6'7", right? And long arms, like, that scoring over length in this league is hard, right? So having a big body like Harris out there in front of somebody just makes it more difficult than scoring over Patty Mills or Seth Curry. So defensively, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. So the question is, can you make it up with their offense? We'll see.
We'll have to see. Yeah, I have some concerns about the Nets defensively because of what you just mentioned, the size. They're playing a lot of minutes with Dragic. You're seeing Curry out there as well, too.
They are Dragic, Curry, Mills, and Irving. You are small out there.
Yep.
Very small.
Yep. And so you got to be clicking on all cylinders on offense. Okay. My second dream matchup. This is one of the ones Jarod was salty about. And I'm don't be really salty. But I picked his Memphis Grizzlies versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, this is a tailor-made, in a way, Brian Fonseca series, right? Tailor-made. Like, it's not, and this maybe not because of the fighting, but I think there will be a lot of chirping. I'm here for this because I really think the league needs a good series between some teams that just don't like each other, or not even necessarily hate each other, right, Jarod? But more of they have the confidence, the bravado, the belief, right, that they can do a lot, that they can go deep. Minnesota, the way they've been playing recently, they've been playing tough. They have a lot of I don't give a damn out there. We already know Memphis has come with that. And the thing that I really like about Memphis, why they have that I don't give a damn out there, is the fact that they've been winning without Ja Morant. So this really only builds and increases the confidence. So now what you want to see with Memphis is when they're tested, not just against talent, but another team that has that, well, we don't give a damn here too. We're trying to get here too. Pat Bev trying to get under Ja Morant's skin. Dylan Brooks trying to get under Pat Bev's skin. Can he get under Karl Anthony Towns' skin? Are we going to see two really good bigs in in Triple J, who we know our man Jarod loves, right? And Karl Anthony Towns, who's had a really good season. There's a lot of good things for me to like here. It's just the young talent. It's the scrappiness of these teams. It's the shit talking that you'll see from these teams that I think can really make an intriguing first round series. Now, when I mentioned this last week when we did NBA with Nuance, what did Jarod say? Jarod said, I hope
NBA TV.
This is not on NBA TV. Right. And I'm like, and then I thought about it and was like, yeah, this is primed to be on NBA TV.
It will. It will.
Which, while all the things I said, Jarod, and I think you'll agree with me, right? All the things I just said are positive for the league in the playoffs. But then the negative is if you do get this series and you put it on NBA TV, like how good is it if it's a series that nobody's going to watch because they don't know where NBA TV is.
Right.
Like with all that being said, is this one that still would excite you, especially as the Grizzlies fan that we know that you are?
Shout out to my Grizzly Cubs. Yeah, no, this would be an exciting matchup. You mentioned it. Look, Anthony Towns is playing like an all NBA. He's going to make one of the all NBA teams. Book it. Like he's been that good this season. D'Angelo Russell. And it's not, and you know, Anthony Edwards, Jared Vanderbilt, like every Beasley, all those guys fit, man, and they're getting along and they're playing well. Pat Bev is giving them a kind of moxie. You see Cat talking junk now? That's Pat Bev inspiring. I'm like, yo, man, talk your talk, Cat. I got you, right? And when you have that guy putting a battery up your back, and you're already supremely talented like Karl Anthony Towns is, this team's a problem. This ain't gonna be no cakewalk for my Grizzlies. What I love about Memphis is, of course, the connectiveness in which they have. You mentioned the record without Ja Morant. What that says to me, Dexter, isn't that, oh, the Grizzlies are better without Morant. What it says is this is a team that is connected and plays for one another, right? That's what that tells me. They are bought into everybody's success. See, that's the thing about basketball that people don't kind of see and realize. Like, it's a working environment, right? And y'all know if you work at wherever you work, there are cats you rock with at your job and other cats who you ain't out there cheering or rooting for their success. This team, you can see it. They love it when everybody succeeds. Now, the realities of an NBA season and NBA life may eventually beat that out of them over time, but right now they have it. And you can see it particularly on the defensive end. And that's how you can tell. You can tell when a team is connected when you watch them defensively. When someone isn't willing to sell out for their brother, that's how you know them dudes ain't together like that. But this Grizzlies team, they are in fact together like that, grouped in. Now, one thing does concern me, Dexter. Grizzlies being real coy about this Ja Morant thing. Oh, knee injury. He'll be out 2 weeks. Like, that's not a diagnosis. You're not telling us anything. And I've talked about this before. The way in which he plays the game and the way he lands, listen, that worries me. Ja Morant's not a big dude. He's slight. He's like 6'2", 6'3", maybe 170 soaking wet. All right? Like maybe.
Right.
Like, it's just, it's a lot of torque, and he falls hard to the ground often. Listen, running into these big, massive dudes in the NBA and falling on the ground, that shit hurts, man. All right? Like, and you keep getting that over and over and over. It's problematic. So I'm hoping this knee injury isn't a big deal, and we'll see, when he comes back, what the situation is. But this should be an excellent first round matchup. It will be on NBA TV because of the market sizes, and it's a shame because the casual fan, if you're someone who's out here like, oh, I like college ball better than the NBA, those guys they play hard, but all that stupid nonsense that people say, watch this series, and this will devoid your whole mind of any of that. College is better.
I hope that it would. I hope not, because this is too. You have great, Manny in the chat was talking about we haven't seen that in a while. Two really good young teams going at each other with young stars. Ja Morant is now made that jump into the superstar territory. I truly believe that. Triple J has made the ascent into. He should be. I've been clamoring for this for weeks, and Jarod knows. I've been watching Triple J closely this year. I talked to him about how impressed I was with his defensive ability and numbers. You guys, if you've been watching and following the show, I spoke with Sharon Brown about that from the Memphis Flyer a couple weeks back. We talked about this, how impressed I am with him. He should be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. People are not talking about
Certainly
him
been on
enough.
an all-defensive team for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And it's kind of been annoying me that he hasn't been talked about enough. If you've been watching the games, you will see the impact, particularly late. You will see the impact. I've seen some clutch defensive plays from this guy. All that being said, there's a lot of young talent here, Jarod, and that's what the NBA should be trying to market, not put it on NBA TV. The kids like John Morant too. That's another thing. Kids like John Morant. So
he's got one of the top selling jerseys in the league, if I'm not mistaken. And again, he's young, he's exciting. Look, this is definitely better for TNT, but the market size dictates that, right? Memphis and Minnesota are not large enough markets, so that series is going to NBA TV.
It's going to NBA TV. Also, I will note, I love the fact that the city of Memphis seems to be really behind this team. I talked to somebody I know that is in Memphis about that recently, about just how behind the team the city is, and when you get that connection, that's always dope too. In terms of policy, that's why I hope they can go deep and make a playoff.
Your man about to be down there to cover some Grizzlies game for the playoffs. I'm saying it now, man. I'm going down there. Round 1, get me in there. Games 1 and 2. I'm gonna be out there. I mean, media, so I ain't gonna be rooting. Yeah. But
if Beale Street could talk, it would it'd be letting y'all know how Jarod's gonna be down there. Yeah,
if Beale Street can talk. I see what you did there.
All right, Jarod, what's your third matchup that you have? Third most intriguing first round matchup.
I'd love to see the Dallas Mavericks and Denver Nuggets. And I like this matchup because look, Dallas is getting to that stage now where this will be Luka's third playoff appearance in his first 4 seasons, right? Which, by the way, that's pretty impressive that in your first 4 years in the league, you made the playoffs 3 times. But people are going to start getting on him about, but Luka's not that good. He hasn't advanced past the first round yet. Meanwhile, the greats, and I think he's the greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan lost in the first round mad times before he got to, hell, he didn't make the playoffs a bunch before he even got there, right? So, let's cut all that crap out about, if you don't win right away, you're somehow some kind of character deficiency. Dexter, we talk about this. It's amazing how a team award, like a championship, gets hoisted upon an individual. If you win it, that means you are great. If you lose or don't win it, it means you have some kind of character deficiency or character flaw. It's just so stupid when you realize, 1, it's not just about one person. You need a team, and 2, you need a tremendous amount of luck in order to win a championship. And that's something that people just can't wrap their brains around. That's a different conversation for a different day. But this matchup, I think, would be great, mainly because I love what Jokic is doing. It's funny. In our group chat, Dexter, every 3 hours, my mind changes. It's like, all right, right now it's Jokic, Giannis, Embiid. I think this morning I said, guys, nope, it's Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid is third now. Like every so often it changes because, God, these guys are so good. Which, by the way, is the reason we should have an Offensive Player of the Year award. Like we got to start separating some of this stuff out because guys are having great seasons and not getting rewarded for it because two of these dudes are going to be like, damn, I had a pretty good year and I ain't getting an MVP. That's just how it's going to go. But Denver, what Jokic has done with that Denver squad without his second and third best player. And this is no offense to Bones Highland and Will Barton and Austin Rivers. I mean,
Aaron Gordon.
But come on, man. Like these ain't, that's not right. These dudes ain't right. You take Jokic off that team, that's a lottery team. Okay.
Lottery. Picking high, probably top 3 or 4.
I mean, easy. It's just so what he's doing is amazing. And what Luka and Jason Kidd have done with the defense, turning that around. I just would love to see the Jokic-Luka matchup to see which heliocentric star, because they're both heliocentric, but in a different way, is able to elevate their team over the other. And this is assuming, of course, that Porter Jr. and Murray don't come back, which we're getting conflicting reports. Porter Jr. may be back before Murray. We don't know, what have you. We'll see. If Porter Jr. does come back, though, and he's able to shoot it as well as he did last year, what an outlet that'll be for Jokic to help relieve some of the scoring load.
Yeah, it absolutely would. It'll be very interesting. I think this is a good one. So we have some overlap here. My last one, because it both involves the Mavericks. I think this would be good. You're going to have that storyline that you mentioned about will Luka win his first round series. He's been knocking at the door. The thing about Luka in these series is we've seen the individual brilliance of him. He just hasn't been able to do it. And you can he has some questionable supporting cast the last couple of years. The supporting cast has been playing better, which I find very interesting. But it's also, well, what if Jokic can elevate his team in this supporting cast, as you said, Jarod, which has not been that great. No disrespect to those guys. It just hasn't been that great. If he can elevate them to even a second-round matchup, well, I know that doesn't count for the MVP because it's a regular season award, but that's still very, 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 very impressive if he could do that. Look, I've been impressed with what he's done all year, right? Like, I don't know how he's doing it, elevating his team. You look at these guys, you got to be really impressed with what he's done all year. With that being said, I said there's some overlap here. I also have the Dallas Mavericks as my last dream first-round matchup, but I got him against the Utah Jazz. And I got him against the Utah Jazz because of some, and I was going to overlap with some of the things Jarod said before. The Utah Jazz, as I've said, have had a lot of perimeter problems, right? They really have struggled to guard on the perimeter. We know that. We know how great Rudy Gobert is, but I think this is a matchup that is tailor-made for Luka Doncic to go off, to give them buckets, get everybody involved. But also what I like in Dallas's favor is they've got guys on the perimeter that are playing really well. Spencer Dinwiddie has been fantastic for them, particularly in the clutch. Jalen Brunson's been a really good player for them all year. If you've been watching this team, Dorian Finney-Smith has played very well, and he can guard. What would the Jazz be if they had a player like Dorian Finney-Smith?
Shit, way better.
Way better, right, Jarod? Yeah, they'd be
way
so
better.
much better there, right? They're a team that could really utilize him. So I like this, and I think this matchup in a way would accelerate the flaws or expose more of the flaws of the Jazz, right? Like, I think with the Jazz, one of the things about this playoff thing, and tell me if you agree with me or not, Jarod, is that we all see the problems with them. We've all discussed this who've watched the games, right? Them prolonging it or getting to a second round and masking it just only delays the inevitable, which is that you kind of need to break this up. You kind of need to blow this up. We kind of need to move on. And I think this is a perfect series for Dallas. Now, if Utah is able to win this series, while I said all that, delaying the inevitable and all that, and I still think they have the issues that they will have, I do think it's something that they can hang their hat on a bit, especially if they're able to stop Luka. We know nobody stops an NBA superstar, but if they're able to frustrate him, they're able to come up with some defense. I wouldn't bet on that, folks. I wouldn't bet on that at all. Not with Utah. Their perimeter D, not Utah. But it's intriguing. And I think who has home court advantage in that series is also an interesting thing to keep an eye on as we come down the stretch of the season right now, because Utah currently is in the 5th spot. They are 2 games behind the Mavericks. And the Mavericks, I think they badly would want home court advantage, something they haven't had in their last couple of playoff series. So we'll see. But I think it's anything with Luka is interesting. Anything with the drama of the Jazz is interesting. And there's a lot there. There's more pressure on the Jazz to me than there is Luka for the reasons that Jarod mentioned, in that, sometimes some young superstars struggle and they'll make it past the first round. It's not crazy. It doesn't take away from the greatness of Luka Doncic.
I mean, the problem is for Luka is that he was drafted the same year as Trae Young, and Trae took the Hawks to the conference finals in his first playoff run, right? But then you look at what the Hawks are doing this year, and playing. I mean, right? So it's at least Luka's been consistent. We get to the playoffs every year, right? So like he got
There's been some consistency. There's been consistency. One more, our boy Manny mentioned this, and he said Clippers, Mavs, which I know people would want to see for the reasons of last year. Now with Paul
George is back.
There's some intrigue there. I can see that. One, I also think, Manny, you mentioned one with the Heat before. I think you said Heat Boston or Philly Boston. Heat Boston is very interesting because both teams can be scrappy. Our man Brian Fonseca will want to see a fight. Udonis Haslem get in the court, punch somebody or something like that.
And the Heat, listen, that little dust up that went on.
Keep your eye on that. I'm not sure that isn't a problem.
That's exactly my point. I'm not saying it is a problem, but I'm not sure it isn't one either.
Right. Like that's been my thing on this. Like, let's keep our eye on that. I'm not sure it isn't a problem. That's something I definitely want us to get into next week. I think when we have just a couple games left, because how they're looking to close the season, and everybody, including our man Brian Fonseca, they're the first people to come out and say #Heat culture. That's all good and well, right? But what happens when that culture is tested? And I think that's what Jarod is talking about. When that culture is tested, how's that going to look? We will see. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to give our NBA picks. Jarod, how did you help? Did you help the people win some money last night? Did you?
Son, once again, I hit y'all with winners last night. I said Mavericks minus 11 or 12.5, whatever it was. They're going to blow the Lakers out. I said triple-double for Luka. Mavs
I hit that. I took that. I took your advice and took that.
And you won money, did you not? I said second game. I said Rudy Gobert blocks and steals look at like 17 plus combined on that, and Donovan Mitchell plus 25 points. But listen, man, stick with me, kids. You winning every week. At least one time I'm getting you a winner for one of those TNT doubleheader games.
Hey, well, that's some very lofty expectations. Jarod has now set for himself. We'll see if he picks you a winner when we come back here on the NBA Exchange. Are you looking for a better way to play player props or daily fantasy sports? Well, look no further than Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the leading over-under daily fantasy game. Why? Because it's so easy to use and win. You can make your picks in under 30 seconds and win up to 10 times your money in one day. Right now, we have a special offer for our viewers and listeners of the NBA Exchange. All you got to do is sign up now and use the promo code NBAEX. Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Yep, that's right. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. So, join the over 150,000 others who found a better way to play and download the Prize Picks app today. That's right. Use that Prize Picks code NBAEX. Get that money match. And, when you're looking at that stuff like the over-unders, you might want to listen to Jarod because he wins you money. Now, there's no money back guarantee, and it's just to let y'all know, what I'm saying? If you lose the money, you can't hit up Jarod and be asking for the refund.
Yeah, man, I'll be coming over here looking for no refunds. I can't help you on that.
Can't help you on that. But he will say that he will get you some wins. So looking at Wednesday night, there's some interesting games. These games get very interesting in terms of betting when we are coming down the stretch of the season. 7-8 games left for a lot of teams here. What's your first game of the night here tonight, Jarod?
Memphis Grizzlies taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Grizzlies are 5.5-point favorites. Take that. I think they beat the Spurs tonight. But watch out for any player props involving DeJounte Murray. Listen, he is a crafty point guard. I mean, crafty makes it sound like he's like not very good or athletic. He's extremely good. Triple-double, a walking triple-double. He's excellent. So look for any player props of triple doubles on DeJounte Murray, and so I would say Grizzlies win triple-double DeJounte Murray if you want to go single game parlay, and Jaren Jackson Jr. if he plays 15 plus points. See what kind of odds you get on that. But I like the Grizzlies minus 5.5 and then take the under.
I like that there. I'm a little intrigued with that line. The Spurs are motivated. They can get into the play-in now. Thanks, Lakers. They are now, I believe they're tied with the Lakers for that 10th spot.
The Lakers might not even make the play-in. They were the Las with the Nets. They were the Las Vegas betting favorites to start the season.
It's crazy. This
is wild.
It's crazy. I'm trying to get you to be like, if the Lakers get in, they're gonna make a run behind the greatness of King James. I'm just trying to get you to say it, man.
Listen. I don't worship at the LeBron James propaganda altar. All right, nah. We not doing that. We not doing that.
Man. Yeah, I'll keep your eye on the Spurs, but I like that line at minus 5.5 for the Grizzlies. Honestly, I like the Grizzlies so much in terms of betting right now. Even if they don't have Ja Morant, you're not scared. If they had Ja, that line's probably going up to maybe about 7.5, 8.5, maybe if not more. The last time these two teams played, they played a very competitive game, but the Grizzlies were able to take over down the stretch. And that game was in San Antonio too. So I like them there on that. So I think that's a good one. All right, my first game of the night is the Denver Nuggets. They are 9.5-point favorites versus the Indiana Pacers. Now, normally, you guys know me. What do I preach here? If you think the line is too high, look at that alternate spread, right? You might want to do that here. This one, nah. It's Indiana. They haven't been doing shit at all whatsoever, right? Everybody's out on that team. Miles Turner they shut him down for the season. They're putting basically a G League team out there. It's Tyrese Halliburton, Malcolm Brogdon, and the Pacerettes. That's what's out there right now. I bang this. I like how Denver's been playing. Denver is motivated. They also want to see if they can move up. They are technically, by record, guys, 45-31. So they are tied with the Utah Jazz. They are trying to move up to fifth. The Jazz do have the tiebreaker, but they're motivated to try to move up to fifth. You could get that dream first-round matchup that Jarod talked about with the Mavs and the Nuggets, which I think would be a fantastic series, actually. So you can get that. I think they're motivated. I think they murder the Pacers here. Bang that -9.5 Denver on the road. I can see this easy. Look at a Jokic triple-double. Now, Jarod told y'all last night to look at the Luka Doncic triple-double. Now, what was impressive about that, I took that. I almost wish I put more on that. Took that. Luka Doncic got that triple-double in 24 minutes.
Yep.
I'm going to say this right now. This could be such a beatdown. I could see Jokic doing that in a really quick time as well, too. Maybe throw a couple dollars on that Jokic triple-double. Look at that. That might be good for you to get. Wouldn't hurt, but I see the Nuggets smashing the Pacers here. -9.5. Go bang that one. What you got next, Jarod?
The machine that is the Phoenix Suns, 4.5-point favorites over the Golden State Warriors. Look, it don't matter. The Suns will be down 10 going into the fourth quarter, whatever. You know, when it's winning time, they just, we got to win this game now. They just execute down the stretch. They are a machine. Paul is back. Booker's here. Ayton. We know that the Warriors are without Steph Curry. Not sure what the Draymond Clay situation is, but Draymond hasn't been playing well. And look, right now the series is 2-1 Phoenix. Not that it wouldn't matter if the series is tied because Golden State has no chance of catching Phoenix anyway for the best record overall. But I like Phoenix to win this game, -4.5. Stay away from the over-under just because, again, the Phoenix Suns could play with their food for a little bit before they actually get serious and kick it in. Look for anything with Devin Booker scoring 25 plus tonight. He might go over 30 tonight. And DeAndre Ayton double-double.
DeAndre Ayton double-double, looking for that. Could see that. This is a game I think most people would have been really excited for more if the Warriors were at full strength. They are not. Jarod is right. Phoenix has been a machine. I feel like sometimes we don't even talk enough about how the fact they've already reached 60 wins. They are 61-14.
Dexter,
yes.
They are 8.5 games clear of the next best team. Like, I don't think people understand how difficult it is to do that in the NBA. Yep. They're almost 9 games clear of the team that is but second in record-wise to catch them. Like, they have been a machine this season.
But they haven't been getting the respect about how dominant that is. For what,
no Chris Paul, we still win. No Devin Booker, we still win. No DeAndre Ayton, we still win.
We're winning. Yep. And they're obviously their adjusted, rating is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Net rating is absolutely crazy. What is it, like, let's say +8 or 9 per game.
+8. They have number 3 offense and number 3 defense in the NBA.
Which, look, when you have those kind of markers and you're number 3 in offense and defense, what does that say, folks?
That usually says you're going to win the teams that have those kinds of numbers and margins win the NBA championship.
Yep, absolutely. You're elite, or you have a fantastic shot at getting to the finals, and your team play should translate well into playing against playoff basketball, which is Jarod and I always know gets tougher and efficiency does go down. But when you have those 2 high markers, you should do well. Yeah, Phoenix Suns, they've been a good bet all year. Why would you not listen to Jarod on this one? I'm with you on that. Last one of the night. Miami Heat, Brian's team versus the Boston Celtics. Celtics 4.5-point favorites. Over under here, 214.5. Now, if you like defense, you'll like this game. You should like this game. Now, you might have one concern, being that, Robert Williams, Time Lord, now out, meniscus tear, just had surgery yesterday, should be back in a month. He's been a key for the Celtics defense. One of the major keys also has been Marcus Smart, who I think should get Defensive Player of the Year votes. But this is a game where I'm going to stay away from the line here because here's my thing. It goes to something Jarod and I were just talking about. I don't know where the Heat are at, right? Like, I'm not really quite sure about where they're at. They had a blowout win the other night. I'm forgotten who they played. They played a very bad team. They blew them out. People can say, maybe they righted the ship. They bounced back. But here's the real test. What do they do against a good team in their conference who plays really good defense? Let me see what happens when the Celtics punch them in the mouth. What I've liked about the Celtics, and I really like things about the Celtics, is they've been punching people in the mouth. They've been locking people down. People can't score. Are the Heat going to be back at the level of defense they were playing 3 weeks ago? Before that, dust up, whatever the hell you want to call it. Are they going to do that? What I do trust here is defense overall, though. So that over under at 214.5, I say bang the under here. Bang the under is voted very well for folks in Miami. I like that. Also look with anything in terms of player points in the over with Jason Tatum here. He's been cooking all year. I think he's moved himself up into maybe top 10 to 12 player category. Dare I say, he's looked really good. I think they're dangerous in the playoffs. We'll probably get more to the Boston Celtics either on Friday or Monday. We'll see. But I bet the over-under here. Look at some player props around Tatum. Don't touch that line. I could see the Heat coming out motivated for this one on the road, and it wouldn't shock me if they win. It's a little bit close. If you really believe in one team, I say maybe go touch that money line. If you really do, because the line's only 4.5, it's right in that territory. But if, I'd stay away and go with that over-under.
And with you on that one.
With me on that one. All right, we'll see. Don't trust me. Trust Jarod. He's the one out here saying that he's going to win you money.
Every week I've been winning y'all money. If you watch the Tuesday TNT betting show with myself and Jenna Lemoncelli, you see it every week. At least one bet hits. Come on, man.
That's all you can ask. That's all you can ask for, man. All you can do is at least ask for one winner. We're trying to give you that. Let us know in the comments. You can check if you're watching this listening on the podcast. You watch this later. Let us know what you think about the dream matchups. We thank you to our guy Manny for checking in. We appreciate the comments during the show. Everybody else watching, we appreciate you. He is Jarod Hector. Y'all know where to catch him. 7 Footers Podcast every Tuesday night with Jenna Lemoncelli. Catch him on Bring It In on True Hoop on Fridays, 11 a.m. Doing great work. Also, we got some good stuff we've been doing with True Hoop. Dirk interview. Got some other good stuff coming that I'll be helping out with soon with True Hoop. That's good. So please check it out. Subscribe to their work. It is really good. You guys should check that out too. Also, you know where to check Jarod out with me here every Wednesday. NBA Exchange. Nuance. No hot takes. We ain't bringing that. And please, let me say something to people. And thank you, Manny, for the love on the great show. We appreciate you checking in. Just because the playoffs are coming and matchups are coming doesn't mean that we're going to have these crazy hot takes. Doesn't mean we're going to say things like, the Lakers are going to make a run to the championship. Even though I've been trying to get Jarod to say it. Doesn't mean we're going to say that. You're not getting that on this show. We still bringing you the nuance through the postseason. Nuance through the postseason is what we would do. That is my man, Jarod Hector. I am Dexter Henry. Until next time, y'all. Peace.